YouTube, passive prospecting. You're seeing it all over the place right now. I mean, whether it's living in Dallas, Texas, to living in Florida, to living in Hawaii, and now we're to go up to living in Niagara in the Canada area. So at the end of the day, passive prospecting, filming YouTube videos, how does that work? How could that actually work for you? I know Dan Gandy's done it himself up in Oregon and has taken some investor calls and what have you with that. But welcome, Dan, to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited. So, stay tuned. Get your notepad, get your popcorn. We're gonna go ahead and kick this off, whether you're watching or you're listening in. And let's go ahead and bring our guests in. We have Andrew, all the way from Canada. Welcome. And no, I'm not from Canada. Before we got in the air, he's like, "Oh, are you Canada?" No, I'm in Arizona. Actually, I'm in the desert. But excited to talk about all things kind of technology, video, passive prospecting, what you're up to. You're scaling the team. So welcome to the show, man.
I love it. Appreciate the opportunity, guys.
Of course, man. So let's get into it. So why real estate? How long you been in? Why'd you start in this world? And curious anyone else wants to get started, maybe they'll follow in your footsteps.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know what? A golden question. So started in 2017. I came from the car business. I was in retail sales management for many years. And my cousin who's in real estate put the bug in my ear back in the day and said, you got to get into it. He saw I was grinding it out in the car business. And you know what? I decided to take the opportunity, and here we are now. I'm approaching my 7th year in March of 2024.
Nice, man. Nice. I used to slang some cars myself. I can respect
I think a lot of us did. I really do. I think that's kind of that's part of a lot of our history.
Yeah. Dan, were you slanging any cars in your day?
I was slanging other stuff. No cars here, but no landscaping, projects, construction management, estimating, remodeling, all that type of stuff. So I was slanging other stuff. So
there you go.
Cool.
Yeah, we're all slanging something here or there, right? I love that. I love that. So 7 years in now, right? And so you're talking about scaling a team and doing more with that off air, and then. Where did this whole YouTube come about? It looks like from what I looked at around 2017 is when you kicked that off.
Yeah. So obviously started the channel in 2017 because, you had to have a YouTube channel, right? So started the channel in 2017, didn't do anything with it. Obviously just, again, I had it there. You post up listing videos. That was pretty much it, Norman. But a light bulb went off. I joined eXp Realty in 2021, and it opened up my eyes and it brought me into this world. It gave me access to so many big teams, powerhouse agents. It just really opened the doors for me to see what other people were doing. We're in a small market here, generally speaking, and you know what it's like. You get stuck in this bubble in your own market area and you seem to, everybody kind of follows suit with what everybody else is doing. And by joining eXp, and this is I'm not trying to, this is really just a flat out, this is what helped me. By joining eXp, it just opened my eyes. And obviously from there, it gave me this idea. And from there, it just kind of spun. And what you see today, living in Niagara, really is a project I worked on over the past 24 months.
Okay, I love that. And to the last 24 months, you can subscribe, check out the YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, the link is down below. And you've definitely done a great job cultivating and growing that. I actually was watching some of your videos, and then as soon as you came on, before we got on the air, I was like, "Where's the studio, dude? Like that studio that you film in, sick, man." I gotta say, I like that.
Yeah, thank you. So I partnered with a videographer in the area. Timing was everything. It was perfect. As a young guy that started this company a few years ago, and it was perfect timing. We met each other and hit it off. And I mean, that's his studio where you see that. Obviously, vlogging is on location, but that's in his studio. So all my video now is filmed in studio with him. We have a schedule, lighting, everything is right there, which is great. So the product is, it produces a nice product.
Oh yeah, for sure. I was checking that out.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
And let's talk about that, because I think a lot of agents, the hesitancy is A, coordinating it, and B, cost, right? Everyone's trying to, market's different now, but it was crazy. Everybody was enjoying it. what type of cost does a channel that produces good content with a videographer involved? Kind of, and you don't have to give us what you're paying, but some range of some sort of expected monthly budget.
Yeah. So here's the scoop, Dan. Do I need to pay a certain price to have to go on video and produce the same content? No. Okay. Did I start with a videographer? No. I started with my cell phone and basic equipment, and I really just put it out there. And so you know what, you could really take it to whatever level you want at the end of the day. Obviously, I pay a videographer now because I can afford to do it. It's a little bit easier for me because it's a little bit more efficient. I go in the studio, I do my video, and I leave, and I know that it's getting edited, and I know in a week and a half it's going to turn around and end up in my inbox. I look it over, make sure it's good, and Bob's your uncle. So you know what, from a cost standpoint, to answer your question, Dan, it can range anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000 a month, depending on the amount of content you're creating and how much they're actually doing for you. I arrive in studio and I have all my content ready to go. I don't use a teleprompter. I really just have bullet points that I work off of. There's a lot of preparation ahead of time to make sure it's in my head, and I simply execute with the videographer right there. And usually takes me about a half an hour to 45 minutes to do one video.
Makes total sense. No, it's good to, because that's what we hear from people. And when we were selling these packages and trying to get people converted over to content, it's like, I'm like, go buy a phone.
It's
then go do stuff.
Half the battle is getting started and doing it, and then obviously understanding and optimizing and all that crazy stuff that we do in the background. But that is half the battle, honestly.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm right there with you. I do the same thing. On Mondays is my filming content day, and so I set this area up in my home. So I'm technically just working from home, and it's nice. And I just bullet point exactly like what you do. Don't read a teleprompter, but I like to type my stuff out, and then as I'm typing it out, I kind of get my head wrapped around it.
Yes.
And then I'll just go. And then I usually I'll look over real quick, but I try not to, because I don't want people to be like, where the hell is he looking? And then just, read it out. And it seems to be pretty good, but I love it because same thing. I send it off. It gets edited with the team at Liftoff, who sponsors this show, and then it's out, and you don't have to think about it, which is super nice as well. So I like that. For anyone who's listening and viewing out there, I think that's the best thing to do. Is pick a day, get as many videos as you can done, and then you suggest the same?
100%. That's part of your accountability, right? And that was part of my agreement with my videographers. Guys, send me the schedule. This is the time of day I need to show up. I will do my ultimate best to be there. And I almost feel like and very rarely I have to cancel, very, very rarely, but I feel almost, you feel bad if you have to, because you're just duping yourself anyway at the end of the day. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if it does happen, we schedule another date, and I make sure I'm there. If I can produce more content in that 1 hour that I'm with them, I do that as well. Okay. Just so you know, batching content definitely is going to be the more efficient way. The issue, I guess the challenge I have is sometimes these videos are pretty in depth. There's a lot of detail, coming up with 2 videos with, I know it doesn't look like much on an 8 to 10 minute video, but there's a ton of content that you need to remember from stats, and, you want to try to be as accurate as possible. So sometimes, batching this type of content can be challenging, but, again, if you can do it, definitely recommend doing that.
I like that.
And what kind of success have you had with it other, branding, right? Branding, exposure, people knowing, recognition. That's super important. And we want to hear about that. But direct response, are you getting calls? Are you getting people to refer you more? Where are you seeing that metric starting to push?
Unbelievable, man. So just to give you an idea, I doubled down in December of last year at this time. I said to myself, obviously YouTube was on my radar, and I said to myself, I'm doubling down on YouTube for 2023. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. Okay. To give you some idea, the second I started with 33 subscribers. I'm now at 1,141 as of today. Okay.
Congrats.
I generate 2 to 3 leads every single week. Obviously warm leads. Okay. Because they've already seen my video. They know, like, and trust me already because they're contacting me.
Yep.
So they've already seen it. And when they reach out, there's almost like that, I can't believe I'm talking to them type of feeling, because you're the guy in the video. So the success has been unbelievable. I'm thrilled to talk about it because anyone who understands what goes into it and to see the outcome and the success I've had from it, I don't know why. I mean, I have an idea why, but I don't know why more people don't do it. And it doesn't matter what niche they're in or what industry they're in. I don't quite understand why. Just to give you some idea from some numbers, this year I'll put 1.8 million in revenue in contract from YouTube. That equates to approximately 9 or 10 clients. That's combined with leases and buy and sell. Okay, because naturally you will get leases in there, as you know, just because people aren't always prepared to buy right away, or they're relocating and they want to rent or lease temporarily, right? But I've had great success, and I'm going to continue to keep my foot on the pedal, push that needle, and I'm looking forward to 2024 because I'm going to keep up in my game.
Wow.
It's amazing. And then to pack this out, are you shooting one video a week? What's kind of your cadence?
Yeah. So what I do is I make sure I'm posting up one video a week. Okay. Now, however that shakes out, Dan, if it's, recording 2 videos in 1 week, I've always got videos in cycle. Okay. So I always make sure that 1 video a week goes out, this type of content living in. So whether it be in studio or one of my vlogs, and then incorporated into that, of course, I'm using listing videos as well to kind of fill that void just naturally. And I'm making sure that those videos are optimized and, they're looking polished like the rest of my channel.
Wow.
So let me finish this and I'll hand it back to Norm. So this is literally what the metric has reached out. For every 5 or 6 weeks of shooting content, he generates 1 customer, like a true transaction, right? Like multiple leads, right? But there's conversion rate. So if anybody's out there complaining about lead generation costs or what they should do next, it's simple. You've kind of created a plan of, for every 6 weeks I shoot video, I close a deal or a lease. And I think that's super important for people to understand, because that's the question I get from young agents. I have 20 people on my team, and they're like, "Hey, what should I do? Like what's low cost lead marketing?" What I'm like, go shoot content. Like, go to Florence.
Let's go.
Highlight an area and go deep on it. And I can't tell you guys, just get in front of the camera and start this. And so I just wanted to bring that up because that metric's super important. I personally closed $3 million in transactions from YouTube in 2 years. About 20 transactions, mostly on the investment side. I think about 18 to 19 of those were investment related. But it's where people are finding you, right? It's
yes. I love that.
100%, guys.
I love that. And just really quick, I mean, I was just doing the math. You have 5,000 per month in budget, 60,000 a year. That's USD. I know you're in Canada there, but 1.8 million? I mean, come on, the return on investment, and literally these videos are evergreen. They're always there. So you can leverage that.
It's 100%. The math, it works. It works. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Once I started, a light bulb went on, and it was like, wow, this is just, it's awesome.
The biggest thing I just wanted to kind of mention for viewers and listeners out there is like the fan and celebrity relationship. And I've talked about this before on the show and said it in various different segments, but it's interesting how people get that kind of like, oh my God, like you said, I'm talking to Andrew. Like, really?
It's the weirdest thing. So
you're just a guy.
I'll tell you a quick funny story. I was at my local outlet mall. Okay. And this just makes me feel good. That's why I'm going to say it. I was at my local outlet mall, and I walk into Polo, the store, and the manager I've never met in my life, he had his headphone on, and he comes over and says, "Hey man," gives me a fist pump. "Love your videos. Keep doing it." And I'm like, I was with my wife, and she's like, are you serious? Did this just happen? I said, I guess it did. So, you know what? It's a good feeling for some stranger to come up to you and say, "You know what? Love your videos. Keep doing it." I mean, that's pretty cool in itself,
Dude, 100%.
Yeah, it's the parasocial psychological. I'm getting but people out there, it's parasocial psychological. There's actual science behind a fan and an influencer or a movie star and somebody that's a follower or a big fan. people want to connect themselves and do business with somebody to get closer to you. And if you're knowledgeable and you're an advisor and expert in real estate, why wouldn't they hire you?
Yeah. So true.
100%. Awesome. And to add to that, I think another thing for viewers and listeners out there to think about, like, as soon as you hit, like, you're at 1,000 subs, as soon as you're at 1,000 subs, 4,000 hours to watch time, you can then monetize. If you monetize, then that's another revenue stream outside of just transacting buyer, seller, or leasing. So have you hit any of that just yet? Have you hit any of the threshold, or are you starting to see, even if it's like, you don't have to tell us what the actual amount is, but any AdSense yet?
Yeah, not yet. I'm aware that I think I've hit I think there's one thing that's missing. I was looking at the back end. I think there's one thing I'm missing. Obviously that wasn't on my radar. My focus to do is to monetize, because again, this type of channel being so niche, you're never going to get rich doing it. But to your point, it's cool that you hit these milestones, because YouTube tells you this, and it's really cool that you're able to do that. Again, another like pat on the back and say, hey, you made it this far, right?
Yeah. I think what they added is YouTube Shorts. I think you have to hit like 5 or 10 million views on YouTube Shorts as another key performance indicator or something.
Yeah, there's something they added in there.
Interesting. So content. You have something, Dan? He looks like
no, I'm looking at his channel, dude. It's good stuff.
Right?
The recipe works, man. I'm looking at your stuff. It's good. It's good.
So let's talk about your channel, and let's talk more specifically around someone listening. They're hearing your enthusiasm. They're like, oh my God, monetize this, that, and other thing. I'm walking to an apartment store and someone's like, hey, I saw your videos, like, and keep it up. How do you think about the content, right? Because like there's only like so many schools and parks and restaurants and neighborhoods and all the things. Like, do you ever like having like a mental block? Is it pretty much flow pretty well? Like, are you going off of feedback? I know Adam Hancock, he's with the Florida Relocation Guide, and that guy was on our show and absolutely crushing. Our sponsors Liftoff Agent actually serves him on the back and on some stuff. But how do you come up with content? How does that flow for you?
You know what? Sometimes it flows, sometimes it doesn't. It's like it's just like producing content. Sometimes it just like you wake up and you're like, holy shit, man, like this, I got to post this. Sometimes it's like, it takes you hours. Ultimately, I'm in a location with 12 municipalities in a relatively small footprint. There is unlimited amount of content that you can create. So if I look at just in Catherine's alone, which is where I live and where my office is, just in Catherine's alone, the amount of videos that I can create, and then multiply that by another 11. I mean, it's unlimited. There's absolutely no excuse to not produce videos. Sure, are there times where it gets difficult? The other thing I also do too is, I ask my clients, right? You get a sense of what people are asking for, what their interests are. You also look, review your channel, look at your comments, look at your viewership, right? It's funny, the pros and cons videos sometimes they get hammered with a lot of this. I'll get phone calls sometimes. I mean, that's natural. When you're putting yourself out there, you are going to get haters. It doesn't matter how big you are, or how small you are. If you're putting yourself out there, you're going to get that. The way I look at it now, it used to bother me, but it doesn't bother me. I actually like it, because it means that someone's watching my shit and they're paying attention to me, and I love it. So anyway, coming up with the content, I'm getting off topic here, but coming up with the content, I just, you just constantly, the wheels are spinning, man. They're just spinning.
More hate, the more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, brother. You know it.
I know it, man. I get calls sometimes from my billboard and shit. Like,
right?
You're the problem that rental prices are so high. I'm like, why?
Oh my God.
Seriously.
It blows my mind how many people go, I'm so happy you did this. You talked about this. I'm so happy that you created a channel like this. And then you get the one idiot that calls it or puts a comment and says, this is the problem with real estate, or guys like you saying it's bad. I'm like, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying look out for this, right? It's just it's funny how people can take things out of
station, okay?
Right?
Talking about it.
Dude, it blows my mind, but it is what it is.
Oh my God,
this is good, man. Well, what's on the horizon? Like, new equipment, new content? Like, how are you going to keep this rolling into 2024?
Do you know my biggest thing? I just had my meeting with my videographer yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. My biggest thing for 2024 is upping the quality level, upping my game. You know, one of the things that, you know, it looks natural on video, and everybody says, oh, you're great on video, but that takes practice. And the more you do, and the more you perfect your art or what you're doing, the better it's going to portray when you put it out there in video. So my big thing for 2024 is to produce more content, is to get better with the quality, make sure my videographer and editors are on the same page as me and understand what is my content about. That's one of the biggest things. They need to understand why you're doing it and what is your content about, because an editor looking at who doesn't know you, who's in the editor room, when they're editing your video, you know, they need to understand call to action. They need to understand, you know, why he's saying this at this point in time. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest thing this year, is to just keep pushing that needle, keep producing it, and producing at a high quality level.
I love that.
I think that's the difference between people that are successful and not successful. They just do it, like Nike.
Yeah.
I
wish.
Just do it already. That's super awesome. No, I love that. So as we get closer to ending the show, we love to be able to have, you know, something for our viewers, listeners to take from you that they can apply to their business. Obviously now I think that it's pretty apparent. Like, start a channel, start with your phone, keep it super simple. You don't need crazy equipment, don't need to have a videographer. I like that idea though. I like going into a studio. That's when you can get your mindset right and you have someone there. All right, ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. All right, we're live, whatever. But what would you leave our viewers and listeners as we close out today's episode that they could take and apply to their business?
No, for sure. So I've got 4 points that I'm going to touch on to kind of leave it with that. Now, this first point is, you know, relating to marketing, branding, and systems, whether it be video or whatnot. My advice for any agent, whether they're brand new or they're an agent at 25, 30, 40 years, find out what works. Okay, when it comes to from a marketing standpoint, find out what works. Find out who's successful at doing it, and do the same thing. Okay, that's the first point. Number 2 is get help. All right. One of the things that our Canadian president, John Tsai, always says is your ego is not your amigo. Okay. He's going to love that I'm saying this right now. There's too many egos in this business and nobody knows it all. So make sure you get help to figure out how to get there. Okay. Number 3 is double down on one thing. All right. You always have to do you always have to take your building blocks, build your foundation. That never ends. Okay. You got to do your 4 pillars or your 5 pillars. But pick that one thing that you really, really want to do well on, and double down on it. Okay. And obviously for me, it was video. And the last one is make sure you trust yourself and then trust the process.
I love that. We're getting a thumbs up here, and shameless plug. Need help? Hit us up. Lift Off Agent. We can do all that for you. Thumbnail, copy, editing, you name it. We're done. If you just don't have a fancy studio in your location, so you can talk to a videographer in your location. But Andrew, this is awesome, man. I love your energy, love your excitement. I think this is great to end 2023, going into 2024. For people out there really think about, hey, what's next in your real estate business? It could just be video. I think that it's untapped. There's a huge potential, huge upside. I mean, you know, Dan's had success with it. I'm starting to leverage it as well, and I think it's the way to go.
Yeah, awesome, man. I appreciate the opportunity, guys. This is great.
Awesome, guys. Did he freeze?
Oh,
there you go.
We're going back on here.
There we go.
Of
course. There we go. Internet.
Of
course, you know, when you want. Yeah. But thanks, Dan, for co-hosting as always.
Yep. Great to meet you, Andrew. Let's keep connecting.
Yeah, likewise, Don. Definitely. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah, most definitely, gentlemen. Well, thanks so much for viewers and listeners. As it is our intention to take things from episode of Apply Your Business, have more massive success. And be sure to like, subscribe, notification bell. If you're watching this on YouTube, we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers.